Hello everyone and welcome to Season 6, Episode 21 of Pro Wrestling's Top 50. I'm your host Travis McNeil, and today we continue our countdown of the top 50 matches of 2021 with match number 30 on our list, which is the street fight between the team of TayJay, of Conti and Anna Jay, and the team of Penelope Ford and the Bunny from the AEW Rampage New Year's Smash event held on December the 1st of 2021. This match might be my favorite match on this entire countdown for this season. When I say favorite, I don't mean best, it's not number one, but I mean just the match that overall I like the best and might, in a strange way, get the most replayability from me, from here on out. This was a match that I feel is kind of overlooked. It was on a weird day. It was on, New Year's Eve. And, we have some legendary New Year's Eve matches. Shout out Masato Tanaka and Mike Awesome from ECW on TNN in 1999. But typically, not a time that people are really watching wrestling. I think I watched this in the wee hours of the morning or the next day, after counting down to New Year's with my wife and kids. This is another match that I feel gets overshadowed by the similar, but in my opinion, not as good, there's my hot take that I'm sure many people disagree with, match that was the Lights Out match between Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa from the St. Patrick's Day Slam event held in early 2021. Now, that Britt Baker Thunder Rosa match, that kind of laid the groundwork for this one a little bit. It got all of the hype. You had the great visual of Britt, hitting this gory blade job and bleeding everywhere, and the big moves and the moves off the apron. This match, to me, takes everything that they did well in that Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker match, but it ups it. I like everything here more. I think the bloody visuals are better. I think the moves are better. But the thing that really drives this match home for me, and people may disagree with this, and I understand why someone would disagree with it. This match just feels messy. And I know when you say, a messy sounding match, that doesn't sound appealing. That sounds like, a 2001 Rick Blade match that doesn't go super well, right? It's a match that falls apart at the seams and has a lot of botches and things like that. This match doesn't really feel that way. It's not botchy. There's some moves that aren't perfect, but it just feels wild and out of control. And like these four women that are in this match, don't even necessarily want to be in it, but they've been driven to it by their hatred for each other. And the whole thing, it works for me. This match is disgustingly bloody. It's got all of these crazy moves and spots in it. It just feels chaotic where everything's not hitting perfectly, but it feels like this kind of like realistic fight with this just really subtle post-match that I think puts this pretty little bow on this package. And the fact of the matter is, this match goes 10 minutes flat. It is a sprint. It is a crazy sprint. And it's amazing. I love this match. I don't think it got nearly the amount of talk it deserved. I think when you think about high level, AEW women's brawls, if you really want to narrow it, this match will never be placed on the pedestal that Thunder Rosa Britt Baker match is. And I think that's a damn shame. So if this video gets anybody else to put their eyes on this match, that will make me very happy, because all four of these women deserve immense kudos for what they did here. So, they had built up, this rivalry between these four. TayJay are, besties. Penelope Ford is this dirty heel. The Bunny is this dirty heel. The Bunny's knocking everybody out with brass knuckles. And they've established this beef that led to this street fight. And, all of them wear jeans and street clothes, which I really appreciated. The faces come out with like plunder. They're carrying like chairs and trash cans and stuff. And immediately this match goes to a brawl. There's no feeling out process. There's no elongated stare down. These are four women that are finally being given the opportunity to legally mess each other up with whatever they can get their hands on, and that's exactly what they're going to do. And they immediately try to establish, these brass knuckles of the bunny that have been used as a theme throughout this feud, where she immediately tries to knock Anna Jay's lights out with them. Anna Jay gets a chair up to block it, ends up getting the knucks herself, gets a good shot into the bunny on him, and the bunny, jeez Louise, like we talk about Britt Baker's blade job in that other match and it being unexpected and, not something you would typically see out of women's, wrestlers, especially on American television. But the bunny maybe outdoes her with her blade job here. It is crazy. She's bleeding everywhere. She just looks like this, demonic, like screaming banshee that's just bleeding everywhere. It is amazing, and it adds so much to this match. So right after that, the faces, they grab a table, but Penelope Ford kind of gets this opening posting Anna Jay. And we get this insane maneuver where Tay Conti gets laid across the table, and Penelope Ford, who is crazy athletic, goes up to the top and goes for a moonsault to the floor through the table. But the table doesn't break, and she basically just bounces knees first off of Tay Conti on this unforgiving table. And it's one of those, spots where it might end up on, all of these botch, GIF accounts on Twitter and whatnot, and people might dunk on it. But it was so reckless and so raw and so crazy that to me, it made it better than if that table broke. I loved it. It had this kind of like gritty, nasty feel that this entire match has. They escalate things so quickly here. Minutes into the match, we have buckets of blood, we have table spots. Penelope Ford finds a beer bottle and cracks Tay Conti in the head with it, and she's bleeding all over the place. And I love that because Penelope Ford, she's the bad girl. She's basically just this bad bitch that's like coming in. Her friend, the bunny, kind of gets, I'm going to swear a little bit. I tend not to do that in these videos a lot. But, her friend, the bunny, kind of gets fucked up pretty good, pretty quickly. So Penelope Ford, she's going to use whatever she can do to kind of even the odds, right? And to get hers, to kind of get that revenge for her friend. And it really works. And, after she gets this bottle shot, she's going over to her friend and like helping her up and trying to get her to recover. And it really adds to the story that you have two different friend groups that are at odds with each other in this match. And again, it kind of feels realistic. So they go for a table. I've criticized before. I hate like gimmicky tables that are like painted and have things written on them and stuff. I think they're stupid. NXT's use them a bunch. The indies use them all the time now for whatever reason. So Penelope and the bunny, they grab like this glammed out, bedazzled table. My least favorite part of the match, but whatever, it's fine. I'm able to let it go because while they're pulling this table out, you get this amazing visual of the bunny just bleeding and her blood is like running all into her mouth, and it's disgusting. And again, it adds to the overall feel of this match. We get a bunch of moves on chairs, and they're all just kind of like these quick like counter moves where, the two women that have just had their asses beat, find this little opening, this, kind of sucker punch to get back into things. So Anna Jay DDTs the bunny on an open chair, and she goes for the Queen Slayer, which is like her choke sleeper finish that she does. And the bunny basically just falls backward through that glammed up table that's in the corner. Again, and it felt natural. She was getting the life choked out of her. She fell through a table like you'd see guys in a bar fight fall through a window or, onto a pool table or whatever the case may be. I've, for better or worse, seen that a couple times in my day. So, it just had this kind of like realistic feel to it. Something that I love too is none of the spots in this match really feel overly contrived. Tay Conti pulls a ladder out from underneath the ring, and when you see a ladder used in professional wrestling, you expect someone to climb and do something crazy from a high elevation. That's not at all what happens here. She pulls this ladder out, and before she can do anything, Penelope Ford flies in out of nowhere and hits her with an ace crusher on this like ladder that's just lying on the floor. It was brutal, and again, it felt like kind of genuine. Like, why set up this ladder to do some damage if you can just slam somebody right on it? It was awesome. The cameras that are shooting this match have blood sprayed all over them. Again, great visuals. The bunny at this point is just so delirious and desperate. She grabs a bag of thumbtacks. Again, just escalating this thing like crazy. But Anna Jay suplexes her onto the tacks. Again, kind of finding that opening. And another little thing I love, Penelope Ford has to dive in to break the count to save the match. But then there's all of these elements here where, like, your friend is messed up. And you have to save her to keep her getting messed up, to keep her in this fight. Kind of a weird situation. Do you want to win or do you want to survive? Well, your friend might not last the night. And then in doing so, Penelope Ford ends up in the thumbtacks, breaking the pin, and she's selling getting thumbtacks in her arms. So she put herself at risk too. Was it worth it? Penelope Ford sees Conti coming in with a chair and trips her on the ring apron and hits this wild slingshot double stomp over the ropes onto the apron, stomping the chair into Conti's ribs. It was brutal. And then the biggest spot of the match, and I've already went through all of this crazy stuff, but they're fighting on the apron and there's a table laid out at ringside, and Conti ends up, again, finding the opening, countering Penelope Ford, and hitting this wild, like, gotch-style pile driver, but it's almost like a stump pile driver because she doesn't take her up all the way, off the apron through the table. It was crazy, crazy, crazy stuff. The finish itself is great, where the bunny, again, is so messed up from the blood loss and all of the damage that she's taken, getting knocked loopy with brass knucks and getting dropped head first onto chairs and falling through tables and all of this stuff, that she, goes on the attack for Anna, but she just slips in the thumbtacks. That gives Anna Jay, her moment in the sun to escalate the violence like everybody else has in this match. And she finds a piece of barbed wire, wraps it around her arm, grabs the Queenslayer with it, and it's enough to force the bunny to tap out. And I talk about the post-match for this. It's short, but it's so good, where you just get this shot of the bunny just looking completely fucked up, just bleeding everywhere, like she's half alive. Penelope Ford, who was the tough, like I said, the bad bitch throughout the match, having to basically drag her lifeless friend, to live to maybe fight another day and talk shit to somebody else another day. And then you get this moment of, like, Conti just breaking down and starting to cry and, being consoled by Anna Jay. Basically, we joke about, these NXT tropes, the why am I so violent looking at my hands? This is how you sell why am I so violent. Like, these women cannot believe the lengths that they just went through, the pain they took, and how they almost had to kill two women just to prove they were the best and just to settle this feud. It makes perfect sense that you would completely break down crying from that. How many times have you seen the emotions in a fight just escalate to that point? And, Anna, like, having to hold it together for the team and console, Ty, who's crying. It was just kind of this weirdly, like, beautiful moment at the end of this crazy, chaotic brawl. This match is everything I love about pro wrestling. I love, messy, brutal, violent, chaotic stuff. I love Abdullah the Butcher and Bruiser Brody brawls in Puerto Rico. I love Zona 23 in Mexico. I love that sort of stuff. And if you love that sort of stuff, get your eyes on this match. Yes, it's in AEW. Yes, it's between four women that maybe, we don't consider to be the best wrestlers yet, but certainly, all four have shown amazing progress and grown by leaps and bounds. Putting on this chaotic, bloody sprint of a brawl. I love this match. One of my favorite matches of 2021. Part of me wished I could rank it higher. Just, there's matches that are better than it, but it's a blast. It's a thrill ride. Britt Baker and Thunder Rosa, great match. Narrow miss on my list. I'm sure a lot of people will be surprised, but there's your spoiler. It's not showing up on the top 50. I love it. Not showing up. This match, though, coming in at number 30, it's better. I'll remember it more. I'll watch it more. I love everything about it. My hat goes off to all 4 women in this match. AEW has posted a clipped version, or a joined in progress version of this, I should say, on their YouTube channel, so you can watch most of it on there, but otherwise, you're either going to have to find it online. If you're outside the US, you can watch the AEW archives on Fight TV. I'm sure at some point AEW will have their own streaming service set up, and we can give it a watch on there in the future, I hope. You can subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you never miss a video. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Wrestling50, and please join me again next time as we continue to count down Pro Wrestling's Top 50.